Hey everybody, so today I will be making pretzels and beer cheese, soft pretzels and beer cheese, homemade. So in this bowl here, I have a cup and a half of warm water. I'm going to add a tablespoon of white granulated sugar, and then I'm going to add my dry active yeast, so just regular white granulated sugar. I did also see a recipe where you could use brown sugar. I'm not sure if it'll make maybe like a deeper flavor, but I didn't have any brown sugar on hand. I'm just going to like give that a little whisk, and then throw in my dry active yeast. I use a Fleischmann's brand. You want to kind of set that aside for a minute. When your yeast is alive, you're going to see that it starts to form. It takes a few minutes, but it's going to start to have some bubbles, kind of like some foaming at the top, and that's exactly what you want. So this is what it looks like right now. Okay, so over at my mixer now, I'm going to slowly start incorporating more flour. I have about 3 cups of flour in here now. I added some melted butter. So the mixture is looking like that. It also has a little bit of salt, and it has the dry active yeast, obviously, the base of it, and some warm water and sugar. So I'm just going to slowly start incorporating more, and then I'm going to go ahead and have the dough hook do its thing. Basically, this is a very simple dough. It'll come together very quickly, and you'll know it's done when it starts to pull away from the edges. The dough will bounce back. It should not stick to your fingers. So that is... Okay, guys, so I am going to do the cheese sauce next. So the pretzel dough is proofing right now, so I have some time in between now and then, so I might as well get that underway. So I have a smoked Gouda cheddar that I'm going to grate down and incorporate in the cheese sauce. And as far as the beer we're using today, we are using Yuengling. I'm in Pottsville right now, so Pottsville has the Yuengling factory, so I thought it only made sense to use Yuengling. Not sponsored, but Yuengling, shout out. I'm also going to add a little Worcestershire, a little brown mustard, and I have a little bit of chicken bouillon, and I might add some like garlic, onion powder, maybe a little cayenne or paprika. Just season it up really nicely. I want a lot of good savory notes in this beer cheese. I'm very excited. It's the first time that I've made pretzels and beer cheese at home, so very excited for this. Okay, so I have a little bowl on the side that I'm going to just put all my seasonings in. That way when I make the sauce, it's just a pretty seamless process. I hate like fussing around. I just want it to come together quickly. I'll just grab maybe like a half a tablespoon of the chicken bouillon. I've got some cayenne pepper. I love a little bit of a kick, so a little bit of that. And when I season, it's kind of like season to taste. I don't really have exact measurements. If there's an ingredient that you like more of, please add more. Less of, or if you want to omit, just do your own thing. It's your kitchen, you know. You are the boss of your kitchen. I have my own preferences. I love garlic, so I'll season with garlic powder. With the salt, I'm going to just add a pinch because the cheese has salt in it, like there's salt in the chicken bouillon, so I don't want to overdo it, and we could always add more later on in the process. And then a little bit of brown mustard. Yeah. So I've got all my seasoning ready to go. So when I make my roux, I'll incorporate that and bloom all the flavors together. Okay, so in a smallish stock pot, I have about like 2 tablespoons of butter. I'm gonna get that melted. I'm gonna add some flour so I can make a roux. I also have my seasoning, and I'm gonna add some Worcestershire and the beer, and then I'll add a little bit of heavy cream, and then I will slowly incorporate the cheese. So okay, so in the pot I have my butter and my flour mixture, so that's my roux. That is gonna be the thickener and the base for the cheese sauce. I have my seasoning. I'm gonna go ahead and add that in now. I'm gonna let that come together for a few minutes, and then I'm gonna add a couple splashes of heavy cream. Okay, so I went ahead and added maybe like a half a cup of heavy cream. It's coming together. It's very thick, so I'm going to go ahead and add the Yuengling so that it can thin out. I'm gonna lower the heat as well, and I'm gonna let that simmer for a bit, and then I'm gonna slowly add the cheese. Okay, so we have the base of the beer cheese sauce. In this pot we have the roux. I went ahead and added the seasoning. I added about over half of the beer. I might add more if I feel like it's needed, and I'm gonna go ahead and slowly incorporate the Gouda. I'm gonna switch to a little spatula just so it's easier to fold it in. The temp is on, it's pretty low right now because I want it to gently melt. I don't want it to burn or scorch the bottom because then it'll mess it all up. So this is the shape that we're trying to get. They're not going to be perfect. I already know that some parts might be a little thicker than others, but this is the general shape. You want to twist it at the top, and then you want to twist it again, and then pull it back down. So you see a little shape. You're bringing water to a boil. I did 5 cups of water. If you have a bigger stock pot, you can do 10 cups of water, and then you want to add a baking soda mixture. I did 1/3 cup of baking soda. You want to do that once the water is boiling. I kind of messed that up and added it all together and then got it to a boil, so I added a little extra at the end. Hopefully it doesn't mess with the taste too much. I have a little bit of an egg wash here, so I'm going to go ahead, pat that on the pretzels, add my salt, I might add butter to this as well, and then add the salt, and then I'm going to butter it again once it gets out of the oven. I have my oven going at 450, and I believe I'm going to bake for 10 to 15 minutes. I'll double check the time, no more than 15 minutes though. So they should get nice and golden brown. I already see that there's a few little cracks forming from the baking soda mixture, and that's exactly what you want. That's what's going to get you that nice golden brown, crispy outside, and then that fluffy, buttery middle. That's what you want. Doing the boiling portion, it's 30 seconds per pretzel. So I just made sure to set a timer. Because my pot was a little wider, I was able to fit 2 pretzels in at a time. So like I said, 30 seconds is all you really need. That's at least the recipe that I was told to follow the timing wise. Yeah, I have never done this at home. I'm so excited. The beer cheese turned out pretty good. Because I mean, you can use any beer that you like. I think maybe next time I'll use maybe a Blue Moon or even Corona or Modelo. I used Yuengling I had on hand, and also kind of an ode to Pottsville since I'm living here now, and the Yuengling factory is basically a few blocks away. I just thought it would be cool to utilize that type of beer. It needed a hint of sweetness, so I added a little bit of honey for the beer cheese and just some additional seasonings. Like I said, I was careful with the salt, so I kind of went back in and added a little salt at the end, a little garlic powder, just season to taste. So I have some flaky Malt-on salt, so I'm going to go ahead and just right over top. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I love pretzels. As a kid, I never cared for them as much because we always got either the hard pretzels at school or those pretzels that are basically styrofoam. I'm sorry, Philly Pretzel Factory, I do not like your pretzels. I'm an Annie Ann's fan, or just a farmer's market, Mennonite, Amish. They know what they're doing when it comes to pretzels. So I'm going to go ahead and pop these in the oven. 450 for I believe 12 minutes. I'll double check the time once again. I'll put that down in the comment notes or up on the screen. But yeah, so we'll be back when these are ready. Okay, so I just took the pretzels out of the oven. They look great. So the recipe did call for a 12-minute bake time, but 12 minutes came around and there were still some pale spots on the pretzels. So I put it back in for another 4 minutes. So in total was about a 16-minute bake time at 450. I noticed my oven runs a little cooler, so it might just be my oven. It's just better to start off with that lower temp or lower time frame, and then you could always leave it a couple more minutes depending on how the color is looking. So right now I'm brushing it with some butter. They look great. I have the beer cheese ready to go as well. So I am ready to eat. Oh my goodness. The recipe wasn't that difficult. I think the hardest part, honestly, was rolling it out because I was trying to get them as even as possible. That did not happen. A lot of these are a little wonkier looking, definitely a little more rustic. They're not giving any ends as far as appearance, but I'm hoping taste-wise makes up for appearance because look at that. Yum. And we got the rolled-on salt crystals. That one could even be used as a bun. These are amazing. And actually the dough could have made 8. I dropped one on the floor because I am who I am. This is the beer cheese, so I'm about to serve them together.